Bonjour. Voici vidéo 1D pour Français 2. We are going to start with the verb review. We covered this quite a bit in class on Monday, so I won't go over all the verb reviews. You have your charts in the back and your different review helps in the textbook. Make good use of those. Spend the time to review those verbs until you are comfortable with the conjugations of all the different categories of verbs that we have. This is very important. Don't gloss over this. Spend your time well to make sure that you remember how to conjugate these different verbs. So what we will do for today's segment is talk a little bit about negating verbs. We mentioned this in class with ne pas, and I think we used the example, I can't remember the sentence that we said, but we had ne pas. Let's look at a couple others. What if we say il finit ses devoirs? He finishes his homework. He finishes his homework. Now we want to say he doesn't finish his homework. Well, we do the same thing that we did up above. We're going to put ne in front of the verb and pas behind the verb, making our ne pas sandwich. The verb is the meat. The ne and the pas are the slices of bread. So we would get il ne finit pas ses devoirs. Okay? We've seen this again and again. Just wanted to jog your memory on that because the exercise that we're going to go over here in just a minute has some negations in it. So let's turn to that page. Tournez à la page 8. À la page 8. Exercice H. Exercice H. We'll do that together. So just a note about doing these exercises together during these video segments. Do the exercise first. Read through the section. Do the exercise first. Listen to the video segment. And then when I get to the point where I go through the exercise, correct what you've done so that you can use the answers that I give you to make sure that you've done everything correctly. And then if you don't understand, you can contact me and let me know, rather than just going through it all together and not doing the exercises ahead of time. It's not going to be as helpful to you. Let's see if I can make that clearer. It's not going to be as helpful to you to just watch me do the exercises for you. It is going to be more helpful for you to do the exercise and then correct it with me. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, so let's look at exercice H. Répondez aux questions suivantes à l'aide des indications entre parenthèses. Now, of course, they're assuming that you remember all these vocabulary terms. And so if you've got questions on this, again, contact me, because this is, your review. It might take a while for some of this to come back to you. So don't hesitate if you don't understand to ask me now. All right, so we want to answer the following questions with the help of the cues in between the parentheses. So let's look at our modèle. Aimez-vous l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge? And we want to say oui, nous, and the implication is oui, nous aimons l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge. Yes, we like the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Or vois-tu le loup? And here the indication says non. So we've got to make it negative. Non, je ne vois pas le loup. No, I don't see the wolf. So again, here you're going to be needing to look at vocabulary terms and words that you don't understand to make sure that you're following along with what you're doing here in these exercises. Let's look at the first one. Numéro 1. Comprenez-vous l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge? This is a good time to review your verb comprendre. It is in that irregular verb chart. If it doesn't have comprendre, look at the verb prendre, because it is in that family of verbs. Comprendre is in the prendre family of verbs. So review that a little bit. We want to say oui, nous. So our question is, do you understand Little Red Riding Hood, the story of Little Red Riding Hood? Yes, we understand the story of Little Red Riding Hood. So we have oui, nous. And we have to change comprenez to the form for nous. We know it's going to have an ONS, right? So we have comprenons. Nous comprenons l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge. We just finish out with that. Okay, let's try numéro 2. Vas-tu suivre ce chemin? Are you going to follow this path? And it's indicating non. I am not going to follow this path. You'll notice in this particular exercise, in this particular sentence, that you have two verbs. You have va and you have suivre. Just like we do in English, where we say I'm going to follow, we can do the same thing in French. So don't let two verbs throw you. The verb that's conjugated is the verb that you are going to conjugate in the answer. So we want to say, no, I am not going to follow this path. So do we want to deal with, and conjugate, I should say, going, or do we want to conjugate to follow? Well, hopefully you're saying we want to conjugate going, because that would be the correct answer. So we have to put non. Je, we need our ne for a negation, right? What's the form for aller? The va, tu vas, for the je is je vais. Je ne vais pas. Suivre, we leave that infinitive exactly as it is. I am not going to follow le chemin or ce chemin. Okay, let's look at numéro 3. We'll get some more room here. Veux-tu manger avec moi? Do you want to eat with me? Here's another one with a conjugated verb veut and an infinitive manger. And I hope that you reviewed your verb vouloir. If you didn't, I wrote that in your syllabus. Review vouloir. If not, take a minute, pause this, take a minute and go look at your forms for vouloir. Means to want. So make sure that you know those forms, because this verb, the sentence is asking you to use that verb. Numéro 3. Veux-tu manger avec moi? Do you want to eat with me? And we're answering non. So you'll have non. And we need our ne. What is the form that goes along with vouloir for the je in the present? Veux pas. Hopefully you can read that okay. Manger. And then the rest of the sentence. No, I don't want to eat. What was it? With you, when you would change it to with you. Do you want to eat with me? No, I don't want to eat with you. Non, je ne veux pas manger. Let's go ahead and finish it for you. Avec toi. And my writing sort of takes a little turn down there, but that's okay. All right, let's look at numéro 4. Numéro 4. Vas-tu passer par la forêt? Are you going to go by the forest? Vas-tu passer par la forêt? Again, we have two verbs here, right? We have va and passer. Passer just stays the same. The infinitive doesn't change. We want to conjugate the aller form, the va part of that. So we have non. Again, we want negation. Je ne. What is it? Hopefully you have vais. Je ne vais pas. What was the rest of it? Passer par la forêt. No, I don't want to pass. I'm sorry, I'm not going to. I'm not going to go by the forest or pass through the forest. A couple different ways you could translate that. Okay? Let's look at numéro 5. Savez-vous faire du pain? Do you know how to make bread? Savez-vous faire du pain? And your answer is oui. Yes, we know how to make bread. So what would we do? Oui, nous. We want our form for savoir. This is the verb savoir, which is to know. So look it up in your irregulars if you don't know your forms. Nous savons. Then we need the rest of our sentence to make bread. Faire du pain. We know how to make bread. Okay, numéro 6. Veux-tu être bûcheron? Do you want to be a lumberjack? And our answer is, of course, no. No, I'm just not of course. Some people might want to be lumberjacks. So we need what? Our verb vouloir again. Negation. Okay, non, je ne veux pas être bûcheron. And here you can have je ne veux pas être bûcheron. I don't want to be a lumberjack. Je ne veux pas être bûcheron. And numéro 7. Pouvez-vous raconter l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge? In this case, we have the verb pouvoir. Good one to review. This is to be able to or can. So, pouvez-vous raconter l'histoire du petit chaperon rouge? Can you tell the story of the Little Red Riding Hood, And yes, we can. We knew. What's the form? Hopefully you've looked it up, reviewed it. Nous pouvons raconter, like the verb to recount. Have you heard that before in English? To recount a story, to tell a story. Raconter l'histoire, blah, blah, blah. We can tell the story of Little Red Riding Hood. Oui, nous pouvons raconter. Alrighty, numéro 8. Voyez-vous ces corbeaux? Voyez-vous ces corbeaux? Do you see these crows? Non. We want negation. Non. Nous ne voyons pas. We don't see ces corbeaux. We don't see these crows or those crows. Nice X for the plural there, right? No, we don't see. And that was the verb, this is the verb voir, spelled like that. Voir, to see. It's also in your irregular list in that chart. So review that one as well. Numéro 9. As-tu peur du loup? This is an avoir expression. Avoir peur de, to have fear, literally. But we would say to be afraid. Do you remember all those that we did with the avoir expressions? Avoir faim, to be hungry. Avoir chaud, to be hot. Avoir froid, to be cold. Avoir peur de, to be afraid. So our question is, as-tu peur du loup? And my answer is oui. So what is it? We use the avoir form, j'ai, and then we just use the rest of the expression straight as it is. Peur. Except for one little thing. We have that le loup with that, right? So do you remember what happens to that? It's actually in your book already. Peur du, that's what this becomes. Loup. Yes, I am afraid of the wolf. Okay? And the last one, prenez-vous le chemin qui est à gauche? Do you take the path that's on the left? And we want to say non. This is prendre again. Remember, we just did that with comprendre. So make sure that you remember those forms. I'll just go ahead and erase the whole thing. So do you take that path to the left? Non. Nous ne prenons pas le chemin. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, non, nous ne prenons pas le chemin à gauche. No, we don't take the path to the left. Okay, that finishes up that exercise, and that'll also finish up this video segment. Again, as you go through, and I just want to stress that, it's so important. Don't speed through this. Really study these verbs and review these verbs so that you know them. And if you've got questions, contact me. No problem. I always want to help if I can. So, all right. C'est fini. Au revoir.